So we're going to start here with David Gilmore. David Gilmore is 85 years old. He was actually, I think, 84 when we shot this picture. He looks amazing. He's been a lifelong wellness advocate for as long as we can remember from a child. He's been a serial entrepreneur, and he's founded 12 very successful startups since 1971. The really interesting piece about David is he's never replicated the same startup. So he loves to kind of be in this space of discomfort because he feels that you learn more and you have greater benefits. So he's always been very curious. His businesses have spanned from Barrick Gold, which is the largest gold mining corporation in the world, to the Southern Pacific Hotel Corporation, which was sold to the Intercontinental Hotel Group, to a water we all love, Fiji water, as well as a publishing company called Zinio and Wakaya Perfection, amongst others. So David's always been a huge wellness advocate, and we're about to take you on a really healthy journey. We say bula in Fiji, which means hello and welcome, and this is our airplane, Air Wakaya. So for most of you, I know you're all over the United States, but using New York as a central spot, it's a good 18-hour journey to Fiji, but it's absolutely worth every single moment to get there. You should see now a slide of Wakaya Island. Wakaya Island is a very special place. It's in Fiji. There are 333 islands in total. A lot of people don't realize that there's so many islands. There's a main island called Viti Levu, and then there are tons of outer islands. And Wakaya is one of them. It's fairly large. It's 5 miles long, if you can see my cursor, to 1.5 miles wide. It's very mountainous for Fiji, and I'll point out a couple things on the island that are pretty significant. So David purchased this island. He was scouting locations in the South Pacific for his hotel company, and he spied Wakaya Island, which had been uninhabited for over 140 years. And he circled 3 times from the sky and bought it in 1973 for $3 million. So at that time, it was a steal. And what he did was he really kept the island as a vacation spot for he and his family for many years. But in 1990, he opened, and if you can see my cursor, a small, very luxurious resort called the Wakaya Club and Spa. And basically, I'd like to put this into context. With this resort, we accept up to 26 guests in total, and each couple gets a staff of 12. So you can imagine the level of luxury. Bill Gates honeymooned on Wakaya, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. Back on the left part of the island, that's where Keith Richards fell out of the coconut tree many years ago and hit his head. And so what David realized was, upon opening this resort, a little bit before he opened, he realized having a remote island in the middle of the South Pacific, he had to create a sustainable footprint. If he was going to nourish the level of clientele at this resort, he had to create a sustainable footprint. So what he did was he had soil experts come to Wakaya. They diagnosed the soil and were really pleasantly surprised to find that it's a virgin volcanic soil. Very rare. It's when volcanic rock breaks down, nutrients and vitamins automatically are pushed into the soil. So it's a very, very unique soil. In fact, the scientists who came out had held the dirt in their hand and said, Mr. Gilmore, it's so pure you can eat it. No one wants to eat the dirt, though. So he started cultivating microgreen gardens. He has an orchid farm. We organically feed all of our livestock. So really his sustainable footprint started with the resort. On the island, before I move on, there's a couple of interesting points. We have 150 staff that live on Wakaya Island. And if you can see my cursor, there's a little village that we built with 32 duplexes. We built a school for our staff's children, a general store, a nurse's station, everything they would need to survive in comfort on Wakaya. And for every child that is educated on Wakaya, Mr. Gilmore pays for their university in the real world. So it's a very thoughtful place, and as you see this presentation, you'll hear me use that word thoughtful. It's a word that's very important to us as human beings as far as taking care of ourselves, taking care of our loved ones, and always being very thoughtful. We did also find out that Wakaya Island is an organically certified private island. It is very rare to have that level of certification, so it makes Wakaya even more special. So as you'll see in the next few slides, David Gilmour kept Wakaya extremely pristine, very untouched. As I mentioned, only 26 guests at one time are allowed on the island. So you can imagine it's a large island. The densest population is that small area I pointed out. The rest is very, very beautifully mountainous and very prehistoric. And shortly after David sold Fiji Water, he was at an American Express luxury summit. This summit was taking place in Miami, and the summit's whole goal was to gather all luxury marketers from Chanel to Louis Vuitton to Audi and Mercedes-Benz and learn how to market properly to a really unique demographic. And the one question over 3 days, David was on the panel on the last day, but the main question over 3 days was, what's life's greatest luxury? And everyone collectively over 3 days decided that time was life's greatest luxury. No one has enough time to spend with their family, with their children. No one has enough time to work out. No one has enough time to shop for the right ingredients to lead a healthier lifestyle. Well, after 3 days of listening to this and kind of getting brainwashed himself, David had an epiphany. He stood up at the end of his panel, he looked at his notes, and he ripped them all up, and he said, that is not life's greatest luxury. He said, what good is time if you don't have your health? Health is life's greatest luxury. And if we all think about when we get sick and how the one thing we want to do when we get sick is get better immediately. Nothing else matters. So it's true. It is our greatest luxury, and it is one that has been overlooked for so long. So David, having this epiphany, wanted to address a new way to approach your wellness. And you'll see with this gorgeous beach shot, which was taken with an iPhone. I always tell people the way Wakaya is, if a brontosaurus lumbered out of the bush and you were sitting on the beach and you saw it, you'd think there was absolutely the most normal thing ever. So David decided to go back to Wakaya, his favorite place on the planet, the most purest place, and he started a collection, a lifestyle collection to be used every single day called Wakaya Perfection. And what he did was he started with ginger, and he really started with a treasured memory that he had personally, which is what led him to ginger. His mother was a professional opera singer, and she sang beautifully. And as of 6 years of age, he would only remember her making ginger tea before she sang, because ginger is a heated root. It would work on her vocal cords, open them up, and beautiful sound would come out of her mouth. So that's his association with ginger. It made his mother's voice sound beautiful. And as he started researching ginger and realizing it has over 4,000 years of benefits, everything from easing your cold and flu symptoms to acting as a digestive agent. I mean, we all know when we get sick, your mom says, have ginger ale, calm your stomach. It's a metabolic booster. It helps with nausea. Fishermen on the open sea used to chew raw ginger just to quell their seasickness. So it has these incredible benefits, especially also with people who have arthritic pain. It's really an age-old healer. But what David did was something completely different, just like he did with Fiji Water and the square bottle. He set out to do something totally unique. He started with our 7-million-year-old mineral-dense, vitamin and nutrient-enriched virgin volcanic soil. We knew the soil in Wakaya was very, very special. He went through the Fijian Islands and crossbred a very rare strain of pink Fijian ginger. So it took a good 4 years to perfect this seed. Once we perfected it, we then planted it in the beautiful soil on Wakaya. And I always like to point out, our organic pink Fijian ginger really should be looked at almost as a precious gem. It is indigenous only to Wakaya Island. The root nor the seed never leaves the island, so truly it's the only place on the entire planet where it grows. What we did was we did plant that seed in our beautiful volcanic soil. We have 75 farmers on Wakaya. The other 75 workers we have are our hotel staff. But our 75 farmers work and cultivate everything by hand. There's no tractors. There's no diesel. Nothing compromises the integrity of Wakaya's virgin volcanic soil. We don't even have an irrigation system. We actually allow the Fijian rainfall to nourish the crops. So we're really, really retaining that pristine environment. This is one of my favorite slides because this slide represents a lot of demystification of fresh ginger. So we all probably, most of us know that ginger grows mainly in China and in India, and it grows on flat lands. And when you grow ginger on flat lands, two things happen in a storm or any type of flooding. One, water runs into the flatlands and actually saturates the roots, so the roots sit in water and get what's called root rot, which completely ruins crops. It's the quickest way to kill the ginger is to sit it in water. The second piece that not many people think about is the fact that if there is a flood or any type of storm, natural waste and sewage automatically run off into flatlands, and so you can be cultivating fresh ginger in contaminated soils for years and years. So if you look far into the distance on this interior shot of Wakaya, you'll see a tiny ginger paddock. This is our first ginger paddock planted in 2010, and what we did was we plant our ginger on 45-degree angled hillsides. And we do this for several reasons. One, we do it to avoid root rot, so we know that the Fijian rainfall will nourish the crops. The crops will not sit in water. The water will run off. We know that no sewage or waste is going to touch this hillside, but also everyone probably heard about Cyclone Winston that recently was in Fiji. This actually protects our crops from cyclones, almost cyclone-proof. When a large cyclone came to Fiji a few years ago, the mainland who grew their ginger on flatlands lost 78% of the crops, while Wakaya only lost 2%. So this very thoughtful, hand-cultivated, caring method is critical to what differentiates our organic pink Fijian ginger and our products from anything else. This beautiful shot is of our ginger paddocks, and you'll see they're roped off on either side. Again, in our thoughtful way, we don't have an electric fence. We have a micro electric. It's not a microelectric. It's a micro vibrational fence. Excuse me. And so when our animals come close to it, a vibration is sent out rather than electric shock. So again, very thoughtful in Wakaya. Once we cultivate in a paddock, we cultivate once per year. We then move the cultivation to a different paddock. And we do that because we want the old paddock and that gorgeous soil to regenerate over time. It takes a good year for that volcanic soil to break down again, become strong, and be perfect for cultivating. So we're constantly moving our paddocks on Wakaya. And I love this shot. This is our result. This is a ginger root that you will never see at a Whole Foods market or any Publix or any markets close to you. It is truly a rare, pure, powerful, potent, organic pink Fijian ginger. It comes out of the ground this blushy pink, and it is absolutely stunning. Once we have our ginger root, we have a small factory on Wakaya. We actually shave that root into really thin potato chip slices. We then bake it in a convection oven for 22 hours at a specific temperature, which we never disclose, but it's around 76 degrees. Now, if you think about normal ginger, it's usually flash-dried at 220 degrees. And if any of you are vegetable lovers like myself, you'll know that when you cook vegetables too long, what happens? You lose their healing benefits. So what we do is we extract the moisture through this slow process at a low temperature. We preserve the healing agents, and we perfect the flavor. From that point, we grind it into a luxurious rose gold powder, and we'll show you a little bit of the product line coming shortly. The next product that we brought to market was kind of I don't want to say it was a mistake, but it was a great thing that happened. So turmeric, we started looking at turmeric, and the reason we chose turmeric to cultivate was we knew that turmeric was an antioxidant. It was a natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, and we thought, all right, if it can do amazing things for your body, perhaps if we plant it in every other row next to our ginger, it will protect our ginger as a natural pesticide. That was how we came upon our turmeric. Now, for all of you, I'm sure you've heard about turmeric. This is actually so hot right now. There are reports coming out of Duke University that are stating that turmeric is actually identifying and eradicating cancer cells. It's been known to aid significantly in weight loss. It's a liver and blood purifier. It is really as equally as powerful as ginger. Dr. Oz calls it the golden spice of life. It's perfect if you have anti-inflammatory issues or inflammation. It is really good in addressing that fact. So what we did was we planted it next to our ginger, and we were really pleasantly surprised to see that they actually grow in harmony together. And when we actually harvested it, we couldn't believe the flavor, the fragrance, the taste of it. I've had chefs that say, I don't believe this is real. I've never tasted anything like this. Well, they've never tasted such pure turmeric. And what's interesting, with all of Wakaya Perfection's products, we back them with certificates of analysis. So with our ginger, we have 3 times more gingerols in our ginger, which is the healing agent, than any ginger powder out there. Our turmeric certificate of analysis came back with 5 times more curcumin, which is the healing agent. So you're really getting these very powerful healers, mostly attributed to the fact that they are our unique proprietary seeds, and they're so thoughtfully cultivated in this special part of the world. We also decided to cultivate sea salt, and sea salt is critical to our existence. There's a lot of salt spas popping up in Florida right now to deal with people who have asthma, severe asthma, where you can actually go into a salt room with about a foot of sea salt and sit for an hour and relieve your asthmatic symptoms. So we turned to the gorgeous, this doesn't even do it justice, the gorgeous apple jade, beautiful blue reefs of Wakaya Island. And what we did was we draw our pure seawater out of these reefs. We go through a desalination process where we extract potable drinking water. Again, in our thoughtful vein, the potable drinking water goes to our village for our staff to drink. We also extract high saline content, and what we do is we actually take that saline content and purified water, we dry it in solar beds that sit on Wakaya's beaches, and they sit in that dryer for 7 days. The result is a gorgeous, clean, coarse, beautiful crystal sea salt. A little bit goes a long way with all of these ingredients because they are so powerful. One of our other products, which I think is really unique, that most of you have not heard of, because after you see the cultivation, you'll realize why it's so rare, is Dilo oil. So Dilo oil is indigenous to the South Pacific. Babies born in Fiji are swaddled in Dilo oil. It has incredible healing properties. It's known as a significant anti-ager. It reduces age spots. It's extremely hydrating, has a natural sunscreen built in. And back in the day, the chieftains within the Fiji Islands were the only ones allowed to use the pure oil on their face. Now, the trees, our growth of trees, only grow on one side of Wakaya, and there's a side called Nautilus Beach. And you'll see the groves extend all the way from this bay all the way here. These are all Dilo trees. And the Dilo harvesting is really up to Mother Nature. 95% is Mother Nature, 5% are farmers. So we actually have to wait for Mother Nature to drop the fruit to the earth. And the fruit is about the size of a grapefruit. So if you can think about holding that in your hand, size of a grapefruit. Once she drops it to the earth, it's this hard fruit. It's very green, almost like a ripe green banana color. And we have to go back to Nautilus Beach weekly and collect the different nuts because they're all at different stages. So the green ones have been dropped recently. The pruny ones are drying. The yellow ones are turning into a nut. But once she drops it to the earth, the Dilo fruit begins to dry, and it really gets like almost a really mushy avocado feel. And the ironic part, which I would not have believed until I actually saw it, was that Fijian sand crabs come out of the ocean, and they actually run so fast. You almost can't see them. They'll run up the beach, and they will take that mushy Dilo fruit and eat the exterior rind for their own nourishment. So they actually help us with the cultivation because once they're done, the fruit transitions into a nut form. And you'll see in this close-up, the exterior is a hardened nut. And once cracked open, there's a kernel inside, a very precious kernel. Once we either, in the rainy seasons, we'll solar dry our nuts. Once we crack them open, we collect, that's where we take over, we collect all of the kernels, and we use a cold press machine by hand, and we cold press, again, very thoughtfully, the Dilo oil from those kernels. And what we get is this gorgeous emerald green healing Delo oil that's 100% pure and organic. And it's used in several iterations of products that I'll show you coming shortly in the presentation. The last ingredient we have is kava, and kava is known to have a number of interesting benefits. Number one is to really reduce stress and anxiety. It helps with sleep. It's a sleep aid. It even helps ease menopausal symptoms, hot flashes. It's also known to improve circulation. Now, we don't grow our kava on Wakaya because there's a certain age that you need to have the kava to be for it to actually be most potent. So what we do is we actually take carefully selected plantations located in the outer Fiji Islands. Like I said, there's 333, so there's a lot to choose from. And we specifically select an aged species to ensure that we can get the right benefits from the kava. And then once we take those roots from our farmers, we bring them to Wakaya where they're cleansed, processed, and put through the similar processes of ginger and turmeric in our certified organic factory. So those are our ingredients. Now, we always like to say, with what we do what comes naturally, right? We call it the 3 Ps, purity. When you're enjoying Wakaya Perfection or you're sharing it with your friends and family, you know that you're giving them that it's completely rare and proprietary to a private island. It's found nowhere else in the world. It's cultivated in a soil that is 7 million years old, and our processes are protected. There are no claims, pollutants, pesticides. And we love to disclose the journey of our products from seed to shelf. Very important, and that's really hard to find these days. We also talk about the provenance. We own the source of purity. So private island of Wakaya is in a trust. It's not going anywhere. And then performance, which is a huge differentiator on top of everything that we proudly can boast about. We know that our products actually work. And many people now will use claims in market, but we actually have the certifications to back up our claims. So I'll go through the collections with you fairly quickly. We have 3 categories. First, we have culinary and food. This consists of gorgeous 6-ounce jars of our organic Fijian turmeric, our organic pink Fijian ginger, and our Fijian kosher sea salt. This is a great statement piece for your kitchen. We specifically designed the packaging so that it was so beautiful you wouldn't want to put it away. You would not put this where your normal spices are. It's too pretty. And we did that because we wanted you to be reminded every single day to try and integrate one or all of these into your lifestyle every day. Now, I can tell you from experience, it doesn't matter if you're a professional cook or you're a rookie cook. You can try these ingredients in anything. They will absolutely be the wow factor that your friends will say, what is in this? I use ginger in everything from my chili to chimichurri sauce, and my turmeric just on a breast of chicken with salt and pepper. Sea salt is a beautiful complement as well. To support those products, we also created 2 recipe books. One's called Every Day with Turmeric, one's called Every Day with Ginger. And they are everyday recipes that you could swap these great ingredients in, get your health benefits, and really benefit from this lifestyle choice. We also have these, I'm going to apologize right now. Once you guys try these, you're going to be officially addicted. But we have an amazing ginger sea salt caramel popcorn that is addicting, as well as our new ginger gems, which are an absolutely phenomenal ginger cookie. So again, this is a healthy option. These are non-GMO, gluten-free, all-natural, zero trans fats. You are getting quality ingredients in these products. Our next category is health and wellness, and most of you probably know the supplements industry is very chaotic right now. It's very unregulated, but rest assured with Wakaya Perfection, you are getting one pure ingredient in each of these supplements, one pure ingredient, not a bunch. You know exactly where this is coming from. These are phenomenal. This is an easy-to-go size. It's great if you have a loved one that maybe doesn't want to, try cooking. Maybe they want this delivery mechanism. These are sealed vegetarian gel caps. They can't be broken open. They are meant to take 1 to 2 per day, depending on the label. They're very, very popular. And then we have our spa and personal care line, which is one of my favorites. We have a gorgeous ginger body scrub. This is made with sugar and some beautiful olive oil. We have our ginger body soak, which is one of my favorites because it has 2 ingredients. It has 95% of our ginger powder and 5% of our sea salt. You're going to get a detoxifying bath. If you have any respiratory issues, the ginger will go to work on that. Your body will be exfoliated. It's a slam dunk. And then my new favorite is our calcium bentonite mineral clay, which is actually formed over 43 million years from volcanic ash. This mineral clay can be used in a bath. You can make your at-home mask. This is a really critical piece, a lifestyle piece for your daily personal beauty and wellness routine. On top of that, if you remember the Delo oil I spoke of, we have a gorgeous Delo cream. This is for face and hands, very, very hydrating, not greasy. The reviews we have on the Delo cream are out of this world. Everyone loves it. We combined organic lavender oil and shea butter to create, with our Delo oil, this luxurious cream. We also created a Delo SPF sun cream because we know the natural properties of Delo offer sun protection. And then gorgeous shampoo and conditioner made with our pink Fijian ginger and Delo oil. What I love about this product is the ginger actually stimulates your scalp, and the Delo oil conditions your hair follicles. So for people with long hair, this is any hair type. I have long hair, but I love this shampoo. You're kind of getting the best of both worlds in it. Now, the wellness landscape I'm going to talk a little bit about, as well as our ambassadors and who loves Wakaya. So the wellness landscape, you guys are definitely in the right category. It is no passing fad. It's actually over $3 trillion since I did this slide. And you'll look at the 4 top leaders of the category. All us women we know, beauty and anti-aging is number 1 high priority on the priority list. Healthy eating and weight loss, very, very important. And people, you'll see in the purple, are really starting to look at preventative health care, which is exactly what Wakaya Perfection addresses. Shortly behind that is fitness, mind, and body, amongst the other ones. So this is the business to be in. This is the right time. There's plenty of media out there right now, and it is a very, very hot topic. Our ambassadors are really an interesting group of people. They're people who are interested in a healthy lifestyle. They want specially crafted products that make them feel good from the inside out. They want to tap into sources of personal empowerment. And they really value products that are pure and are unlike anything else. And for them, as what I'm seeing more and more, even in my own life, less is more when it comes to ingredients. And the biggest piece of what we've seen with Wakaya Perfection as an established brand is the ambassadors are really influencers. This is one of the most shareable brands you will ever encounter. And the reason being is we all have someone that has suffered from something, whether it's arthritis or, God forbid, a chemotherapy treatment or nausea or digestive issues. This collection addresses all of that. So our ambassadors are very, very important. On top of that, we've been blessed and selected 2 times by Oprah Winfrey as her favorite thing. Once in 2012 when we first launched the business, and again in 2014. There's only 5 other brands she's chosen twice. It's a very big honor. Oprah is a huge fan of Wakaya, and with some of our upcoming products, she's already anxiously awaiting what's coming in the pipeline. Brand awareness for our brand has been phenomenal. Every major publication has covered Wakaya Perfection, from Forbes, to Glamour, Town & Country, Shape, NBC, New York Times, LA Times. Everyone is talking about the brand because it is so pure and unique. So I'm going to take you now, literally, to Wakaya. This is a small, short video, but it really is. It really will give you a feel of the island. We'll start with our runway, which is very short. We'll go into the resort a little bit, and then we'll go into the interior of the island, where you'll get to see what we call our ginger bowl, where our farmers are working on these 45-degree hillsides. We'll then go to the Delo beaches and end with our sea salt. Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed that brief respite in the day to this beautiful, magical island. And as we say on Wakaya, Vinaka, which means thank you. So I appreciate you coming to Fiji with us today.